Bucky's Basement. Bucky's Basement.
Welcome to another episode of Bucky's Basement. I'm Bucky, and as always, in the basement with me today, I have Old Boy.
Hey.
And Juicebox.
I'm Ricky.
And we are back for another episode of Casting Cage. This is where we take our beloved Nicolas Cage and we throw him back into this podcast and we review another movie in chronological order. We are currently up to 1998. We have done a lot from 96 to 98, and this is like pure Nic Cage action, like all the way through all of these movies.
Oh, yeah, City of Angels, high action movie.
Sorry, we took a little detour just for a moment, but coming out of some movies like Face Off and Con Air and The Rock, and then we took a little break with City of Angels, a palate cleanser, if you will, and now we are back with Nic Cage, I would say thriller? Yeah.
Suspense thriller.
Minus
suspense.
1998 Snake Eyes.
Yeah, I had never seen this movie.
Same.
I am going to go on record and say I've seen this movie at least 4 times, but I haven't seen it in 20 years. I remember everything that was going to happen in this movie as soon as it started. I did not watch the trailer or remember the cover, but as soon as it started, I was like, man, as a kid, I snuck into somebody's room or I was in somebody else's house.
Or Nanny took you.
or Nanny took me to see Snake Eyes.
Cool.
So I definitely knew some of the things, but I was pleasantly surprised at some of the things that I didn't remember. Before we get into it, Snake Eyes, 1998's Nic Cage thriller, mystery, whodunit film, whatever you want to call it.
Kinda.
It's currently sitting at a 6.1 on IMDb. It has 43% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Seems high.
Little bit below the halfway mark.
Foreshadowing your opinion.
Yeah.
I'm so shocked you've seen this 4 times.
No, it has been 20 years, but
right.
I have seen it now 6 times because I watched it twice for this podcast.
Is it kind of like black licorice for me? It's like I don't like black licorice, but every so often I'm like, man, I forget what it tastes like, and then I taste it and I'm like, oh yeah, it's still bad.
No, do we need to skip to the rating at this point?
No.
I think we can go ahead, like Juicebox said, and foreshadow this. Before we get into a lot of things, we like to go over the director. And I want to say that the director of this movie is one of the more famous directors of all time. His name is Brian De Palma.
He didn't direct it, I don't think.
He did direct it.
He did direct this movie, yes. And I'm surprised that you didn't pick up on some of his shots in this movie and some of his filmography.
That is fair because that is fair. It is very Brian De Palma.
All right, so 1998 Snake Eyes. Let's get into the actors really quick. Obviously, we do this each and every week because we love the man himself. And speaking of that, if you're listening to us right now, you can watch us on YouTube. We have an all-new background behind Old Boy. We were tired of the door, so we've created something new for him. We have a new little bit of a color change behind Juicebox. We're doing some renovations here in Bucky's Basement, and it looks absolutely amazing, bringing in some new lights, working on Old Boy's mustache. And once we get everything set, then we will make sure to pump it out to the masses. But right now, you can watch us on YouTube. I don't know what the masses is. What, is it TV?
Oh,
TV.
Before we get into the plot and of 1998 Snake Eyes, let's go through some of the actors. We're here because of one reason, and that is Mr. Nicolas Cage, who plays Rick Santoro, a detective who can be swayed by money and aspirations of being the mayor.
Yeah, that is his ultimate aspiration, right? Like, he states that multiple times in the movie.
I don't know why he wants to be the mayor. Maybe he likes the spotlight. You could see in the beginning scene when when he jumps up on that TV with the announcer guy.
It's just attention.
I think he just like loves Atlantic City. It seems like he just grew up there and just like embraced the city, like for how shitty or corrupt or whatever it is.
Seedy,
it's just he like embraced all of that. It seemed like,
but he draws the line at murder.
He draws the line. Yeah, he has a moral compass in this kind of because he's still getting paid off to do certain things. Did you guys hear that part in this movie where he says, "I've got the whole city wired"? He said, "It is my city, but I got the whole city wired." And the first thing I thought of for some reason was like that Batman scene where Lucius has like the whole city's cell phones tapped.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought of that. And I'm like,
Atlantic City's Batman.
Next up is Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan is in this,
a.k.a. Gary Sinise. Gary Sinise plays Commander Kevin Dunn. I said military assigned to protect the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how that worked, but okay.
I didn't either. I mean, he's like also working alongside like some military contractor, which we can talk about
As
once
we get
into
on.
it.
Yeah.
We have John Hurd in this movie, who is the dad from Home Alone. He plays
Kevin McAllister's dad.
Kevin McAllister's
That's his
dad.
name. I just wrote Kevin McAllister's dad.
John
I wrote the
Hurd.
same thing. I wrote Home Alone Dad.
All right, next up is Carla Gugino. She plays Julia Costello. She is one of the hottest chicks in cinematic history.
Dude, yeah, I just wrote down the heart eye emoji
Yeah.
next to Carla Gugino.
If you don't know who Carla Gugino is, she is in Sin City.
But she's also in Spin City.
She's in Spin
Where she
City
doesn't.
Yeah.
from 1996 to like 1999. That was a show
I'm
on
actually
ABC.
about to go like binge that.
You're looking it up.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's got to be something else she was in besides this movie.
She's in House of Usher. She kicks ass in that.
Yeah.
She's in all those.
She was in The Watchmen. She was in Son-in-Law. She was
Watchmen,
in
yes.
Sucker Punch. If you guys remember,
remember
that movie we watched
Ooh,
back
we
in the day.
reviewed that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she could not save that movie.
She was in Entourage.
She's been in a lot of stuff for a long time.
All right, up next is Stan Shaw. He plays Lincoln Tyler, the boxer who can be bought.
Oh God, did you? I mean that. Did y'all buy that for a minute that guy was a heavyweight champion?
Oh my God! Like no,
You mean Quasimodo?
I was like,
his
come on.
boxing scenes were rough to
Yeah.
watch.
His acting scenes were rough.
Yeah, I think everything was a little rough with that character. That pretty much rounds out the cast for the movie Snake Eyes. Before we get into the plot and really dive into what we thought about this film, we like to do a little segment on Casting Cage, and where we have Juicebox read the plot that you can find online for the movie Snake Eyes, and then we kick it back to Juicebox for his version in a segment we like to call
Plot by Juicebox.
Corrupt Atlantic City police officer Rick Santoro and Navy Commander Kevin Dunn joined forces to investigate both the assassination of Secretary of Defense Charles Kirkland and the disappearance of a beautiful stranger. That was
Okay.
from IMDb.
Okay. They're not giving away anything.
They're so weird on the IMDb.
Let's hear your version.
Usually I just try to summarize it as quickly as possible, but I feel like there's like some unsaid backstory to this movie, so bear with me. After the events of Forrest Gump 2, Lieutenant Dan rejoins the military, somehow survives an underwater submarine attack, then starts working for the military-industrial complex, selling faulty weapons to the government while working for the government. He does this all in order to kill human troops, to clear the way for his race to repopulate the Earth. Along the way, he develops an unlikely friendship with a crooked Atlantic City detective.
Wow. Prequel.
Yeah, and you guys might be
Or
like
sequel.
wondering, like, maybe you're not familiar with what happened in Forrest Gump 2.
Yeah, not familiar at all.
So I got a little plot by Juicebox for Forrest Gump 2.
Forrest Gump too.
Okay.
In Forrest Gump 2, it's revealed that Lieutenant Dan is actually a lizard person. That's why he didn't die in war or in that storm. Lizard people were more resilient. And because of this, he ended up growing his legs back. The end of Forrest Gump 2 ends with him stepping out of the shadows to kill Forrest with a powerful lizard kick. And as Forrest lies on the ground bleeding, the last thing he sees are the legs and says, "Lieutenant Dan got new legs." Then he dies. So then it picks, this movie picks up after that.
God,
right.
dude.
It rarely is a sequel better than the original, but in this case, it absolutely is.
Robert Zemeckis really went off the rails there in Forrest Gump too. He took on a whole new screenplay.
Well, you know what happens. You know, you have a successful movie and you buy a lot of cocaine and you think you can do anything.
I was
Like what's the guy who made one movie? Stephen King.
yeah. Who's the guy that made one movie? I hope we never play like charades together. Who's a guy? He made one movie.
You got it. You got it.
We know each other. That's why we can do that.
You're right. We are on the same wavelength.
Oh man! So let's get.
I really thought your plot was going to be Brian De Palma hit a creative slump and pump this out. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
You can't stop bashing on this movie. We hadn't even gotten into it yet.
No, I think my rating's going to surprise you.
Is it? I don't think it is. There's
wait.
only three of them.
Just wait.
It's definitely
But
not
you
one.
can't guess it.
Okay. All right, let's get into the plot for the 1998 movie Snake Eyes, starring Nicolas Cage and Gary Sinise. Let's be honest, everybody else are ancillary characters. Movie opens with a descriptive hurricane, tropical storm / news segment. I kind of liked how it opened.
I
It
did
dropped, and then they stopped her, and then it went back up and dropped on more.
Right. It was like
Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it was like a one shot, like the whole first like
whole
13
thing.
minutes. I mean, I wrote it down. There was like
one cut.
I could see 2 edit spots like in the first 10 minutes, and it was like, you know, when it would go by like a wall or something like that would wipe the total screen. That was like always their edit point, and I think there was maybe 2 of them.
I think that's kind of his thing. I think a lot of side-by-side stuff is his thing too. I was kind of reading on that, like Untouchables uses a lot of side-by-side shots.
Okay.
But maybe he was just like splurging it all out into Snake Eyes because we got a fucking lot of different shit here.
We did,
You're
and
right.
I'm going to say like, I don't know. It may have been too much, and it's like, but it was. I guess maybe I haven't seen a De Palma film in a long time, so it was kind of refreshing in a way. I was like, this is like fun. Like they're having fun with these shots in the movie. Like, you know,
He is he's a studious director. Like he stole a lot from like Citizen Kane and stuff, and that's what a lot of good directors do. So I appreciate that too. But also, these long shots were long to me. Like some of them, they were just like way too long.
you think so?
Yeah, like
the POV stuff.
I call it detective mode.
All the POV
All
shots.
the
that
POV
we
shots.
got.
I call it like that's Ricky Santoro or whatever, like going into detective mode. So like they're telling the story and then like he's seeing it through their eyes.
You
Anyway,
play too many video games.
I know.
All right, so let's open this movie because we get it right off the bat. This is like the biggest boxing match of the century in Atlantic City, in this famous place that's about to be torn down, and they explain all of it in this opening news segment. 1, she explains we have a hurricane.
Right.
2, the Secretary of Defense is there. 3, it's the biggest boxing match. 4, they're about to tear this place down. 5, so they can build this new place. And like she explains all of it right off the bat, this news reporter. And to me, that's kind of cheating. You guys know this. We've recorded a ton of these movies. I hate when they just kind of on the
Over-explain?
surface explain right off the bat. We're in New York. It's snowing. Is it Christmas? Is this a Christmas movie?
Yeah.
Like shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I think it just plays along with the long one shot. I feel like, you know, there's
You had to fill her.
And
yeah, it kind of helps drive the story because as what you're pumping through, because you can't show a bunch of cuts to show all this shit or whatever.
stuff,
You know, like
it's clever to do it in a news segment too.
yeah,
Like
True.
I could appreciate the way it was done.
All right, so we know it's the biggest boxing match, and then next we meet Rick Santoro. We don't know who this is yet. It is Nic Cage, who is infiltrating his way into this high-stakes boxing match, and somehow knows like the TV announcer for this boxing match. So he goes, the first time we see
He knows
him,
everybody.
he's on TV, and you get the famous, and this is what I remember from the first movie, is the, I'm Ricky, like, you know, when he like moves off the screen.
Yeah, they don't show him doing cocaine, but it's implied, right?
No, and we're moving about 100 miles an hour in this movie. I think just his demeanor and the fact that we're moving so fast feels like cocaine.
Yeah.
Because you got Rick is jumping around in this arena like he owns the place, heads towards the boxer's locker room, knows the bookie, sees the drug dealer, chases him through it. Oh, he's a cop. Like, you know, he goes down the stairs and then flashes his badge. We learn he's a cop, a corrupt cop at that. You could have seen that coming, right? Takes money off the little small time dealer.
Yeah.
Stomps on bullets, which I don't know if that would work or not.
I wrote that note too. I was like, what was the point of that? And then Luis Guzman was like, oh, come on, man. It's like, you can't just buy some more bullets.
Or why wouldn't he take his gun?
Yeah.
Or find his gun or anything. That was kind of strange. Then goes back upstairs, meets the round 7 girl, and I said, this is moving so fucking fast at this point. Like,
See, you thought it was fast. I thought it was I was bored.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
What?
Huh.
I thought it was like sleight of hand. Like, they're moving so fast. Like, I guess you see it after.
I mean, I think
fact.
that's the point of it.
Yeah.
Like, it's happening in real time. It's happening fast paced, you know, and it's like to put, you know, and when the shit, like, you know, when the senator or Department of Defense guy gets shot, it's like even that much more shock. Yeah.
I love a good boxing movie. I love a good, like, sports, like, behind the scenes movie or whatever.
Right.
But this to me was like, within 6 minutes, you're already in this fight, right? Like, I mean, you're on the floor.
I guess it's happening, like, right then.
He sees his buddy, Commander Kevin Dunn, and who invited him to this. We learn that he's a small-time cop. This commander in, like, the Army or military invited him to this front row. We learn that Secretary of Defense John Kirkland is right behind him. That's who he's set to defend. And then we get a real quick, I said, and you guys can back me up on this or stop me or go back if you want. I put the redhead, the wig, the drunk, the cell phone call, the assassination. Mm-hmm. And it moved real quick.
Yeah.
Like, right off the bat, you understand that we're not building up to this. This happens, and then it's what happens after that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of get an idea that this is going to happen.
It's in the plot.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's in the description.
And, I mean, we all know Gary Sinise is the bad guy off top, right? As the viewer, I mean, you had no doubts.
So,
right?
No.
Okay, I felt dumb that I did not know he was, like, the bad guy.
Really?
Initially.
Okay.
Like,
Same? And
Same.
you saw it 4 times? Shit.
I saw
even
it
the
when I
fourth
was,
time he didn't know.
I saw it when I was a kid.
It's too quick.
And I haven't seen it in 20 years, so I did not remember that point. But Gary Sinise just doesn't come off as, like, being a bad guy.
Are you fucking kidding? Like,
I don't know.
I'm
He
surprised.
may be a lizard person, but he's not a bad guy.
Dude, I think he's always a bad guy.
Yeah. Dude, I think he really looks like a lizard person in this movie. I'm going to post like something on the YouTube on a video. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But
Is
it's
this
like
conspiracy.
No, it's just like him like smiling at one scene of the movie, and his face is just like looks like a gecko face or something.
Yeah,
it is creepy as shit.
So we get the assassination of the Secretary of Defense. We get a lot of things going on. There's a redhead, that's ringside,
Right.
and she draws the attention of Gary Sinise. We've got an old drunk who yells something in the crowd.
Feel the pain. Or it's time to feel the pain.
We've got Nic Cage getting a phone call from the ring girl, but makes sense to me because he gave her his number.
He did, but like was like completely unconnected, right?
It seems like it would have been, but it never was brought back up. Maybe because there's so much going on in this movie.
It was just like a distraction
that
happened at the time and later triggers a memory for him to,
Look.
Yeah, because I guess they never bring it back up and they never say we knew he was going to be there and we were trying to distract him from this assassination too.
Right.
But anyway, so mass chaos goes out. Somebody gets shot, obviously in the second row. Shut down the arena is the next thing. Kevin Dunn or Commander Dunn comes back from wherever the hell he was, chasing a redhead.
Real quick though, Carla Gugino, like her character falls on the ground, wig falls off, glasses fall off. make a very big
Right.
point to show somebody stepping on her glasses,
Right.
which is ends up being like a reoccurring thing for the rest of the movie. It's like,
dude,
why?
Come
like,
on, like Velma from Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it's like, why did every so often they would show her point of view and it was just blurry. And it's like, this is the stupidest fucking addition to the plot. This means nothing.
You're right.
Like,
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Damn it. I thought you were going to say Carla Gugino falls to the ground, wig falls off, glasses fall off. Is she hotter?
Yes.
without the wig?
Yes.
Yeah, no
Yes.
wig, no glasses, short brown hair, Carla Gugino.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Just checking with you guys, making sure we're all on the same page here. Anyway, so we get that Commander Dunn is, telling Rick Santoro, I chased this redhead, thought she was suspicious. Let's go up here and talk. This is where we get like logical Nic Cage, not logical Rick
Detective.
Santoro, detective Rick Santoro.
Right.
Rick tries to tell his buddy, how to get out of this.
Yeah, well, he's like, what are you worried about? There's nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
You shot a terrorist.
Yeah.
Like,
I've covered up hundreds of crimes or
Yeah.
whatever he's done.
yeah, he's like, you're a fucking hero, dude. There's nothing to just play it cool.
Yeah. I mean, he's smart as fuck when it comes to getting out of things, right? So
he says.
And he says logical things right there. Then Santoro goes and reviews the tape, sees the Phantom Punch, which this all happened in the ring because it's all connected. The boxing match, the guy yelling, the
Right.
redheaded woman, everything that's going on, I think is all connected. So he goes to accuse Lincoln Tyler, who's the main boxer in this match, who we just saw his boxing match. And then when he's in there, we get the first POV scene of the day, of the night.
Yeah.
Which was jarring. Like, to kind of switch to the point of view, like the POV shot.
You start to realize it's the opening scene of the movie. And, they're going to replay this scene, I think, one more time? Or is this the only other time that they
This
replay this
one-
actual scene?
I think it's the only time you watch this scene again.
Okay, so this is the opening scene of the movie, but now we're a quarter into it, and we're seeing it through the boxer's eyes who is in the actual dressing room.
Yeah.
Did you guys think that the shot, and I'm specifically going to talk about the end of this POV scene, when it goes from POV to mirror, and he's like shadow boxing,
Yeah.
I can't see a split there. I can't see a difference. I can't see a camera.
It's a trick. I mean, it's a way they shoot it. It's a trick. But yeah, it was well done. I mean, I agree with that. But what took me out of it was when he was like a kid who woke up after they've been put to bed, looking through the doorway when his manager's talking to the bookie.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you not see this heavyweight champion with a 12-inch gap in the door?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But yes, the transition, it's smooth. There is no cut, I don't think. It's just a trick.
Yeah.
Other than Lincoln Tyler or Stan Shaw's acting, that would have been a pretty good scene, right?
Yeah.
Because next we get the flashback of the actual fight, and when he's talking about the fight, and you get overhead shots of that. You get the side shots. You get his, like I said in the beginning, Quasimodo stance.
Yeah.
And then this other guy like boxing. And the only thing I could think of was one time in college,
I knew you were going to fucking bring this up. I knew it.
Old Boy used to make little short films.
Yeah.
And he was
Yep.
in a sound studio and created a boxing ring and
Yep.
made an actual boxing movie.
Right? Yeah.
And it looked
And-
about the same as his $74 million budget movie.
It did. I borrowed heavily from Raging Bull, and I think Brian De Palma did too.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I had that right now. In fact, we need to bring this up. Old Boy creates this movie, and
Right.
if I put it side by side with the movie Snake Eyes, in this specific scene, I don't think you notice a big difference.
No, you're right. It's close.
Shot for shot.
I thought about the shot for shot. You think I ripped off?
We'll have to
I
see.
think you ripped off Snake Eyes. All right, so next thing we see in Snake Eyes is now we're searching for what I call the girl. I'm just going to quote unquote the girl. They don't know who she is. She was the one who's talking to the Secretary of Defense.
And got shot too,
and
right?
got shot in the arm. went into the bathroom, stole a jacket, took her bloody shirt off, and then we get
Pretty resourceful.
Carla Gugino's breasts.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You get a couple of boob shots or bra shots with her.
Bra
I guess.
shots,
Yeah.
like the best bra shots.
So like, she's blind, right? Like
Right.
as they've
Yep.
established in
Yep.
her point of view
Because
shots, like. But she somehow evades all the security and all the police, like super
Oh,
crafty.
bro.
Like she walks right
Yeah.
up to the one. She's covered in blood. The guy's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And she's just like, and walks away. And then at another point, she walks down into the arena and like walks past all the cops as they're taking
Every
the
cop.
guy's dead body out, and she just
Every
like
cop.
walks like right past him. It's like
What? Yeah, she
they
missed her.
didn't pay any attention to her.
She
at
missed
all.
her fucking Magoos back into the arena with every cop.
She looked
Oh
kind of
my god,
professional.
that's what it is. It's Mr. McGee.
Mr.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought
She was also. Did y'all notice she was in the men's room when she was changing?
I did
No,
not
she
know that.
wasn't.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
No,
I haven't played.
but
No, because I feel like they very flagrantly showed the women's restroom
women's
like
restroom
sign.
sign?
Yeah.
okay. My question about that is, you have just locked the doors to an arena with 14,000 people, and you just walked through a crowd and went to a restroom. You're the only one in that fucking restroom.
Covered in blood.
Look,
Yeah.
it's not covered in blood. It's like their people have to go to the bathroom. They're locked in an arena, like,
True.
and it's right there next to the huge crowd.
You're
Yeah.
right.
Anyway, so now they're searching for the girl. They're still on the same page at this point. Who is now pretending to be a hooker to get into Ned Campbell's hotel room. I don't know why I wrote his name down.
I wrote down it was Jared Fogle pre-Subway.
Dude.
Then we get the other wild card filming of Brian De Palma, the overhead shot.
Yeah.
Um,
I love this.
do you?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm into it. I'm into it in this movie for some reason.
The overhead shot where it goes across the rooms.
Yeah, so we
Yeah.
get
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first room is the hooker, and the guy's watching the Weather Channel.
Right.
She's laying on the ground, fucked up. The second room is a man asleep on his bed in full clothes, like full dress clothes. The third room is the frat keg party,
Which I don't understand.
and then it settles on the fourth room, which is the couple. And
Like, why would you bring a keg
I'm
to
wondering
Vegas
if that
or to
is
Atlantic City? You know what I mean? Like,
true, but this is also in the 90s. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
just bring a keg to your room. You never had a keg in a hotel room? I
not
have.
when there's a casino and all types of shit to do downstairs.
What if you're not 21? Did you
Yeah.
ever bring a
Okay,
keg into a
all right,
hotel
all
when
right,
you were
so they could-
21?
they could- okay.
I'm
They're
gonna s-
underage.
Like
okay.
I never took a keg to a hotel party, but I 100% would have taken one if I had the opportunity.
I guess like they give free drinks out down there. Like I don't know.
But yeah,
think
not
these
if
are
you're like
kids.
if
not
you're
for like
underage,
yeah,
I guess I
like
didn't think about that.
young frat kids or whatever.
And you're right. That's probably when we took kegs to hotel rooms. You're right.
I was
you're
like,
absolutely right.
I've put a keg in a bathtub
old,
and
man.
filled it up with ice down here on Lebanon Road before.
It's been too long.
Anyway, so then the fourth room we settle on is what I call the couple, and this is Ned and the girl who are up in the hotel room now, and then he, does the convincing on the, whatever.
Right.
He thinks she's a hooker. She's just trying to seek refuge in his room because she's being chased by Gary Sinise. She kind of knows who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then both Santoro and Gary Sinise are looking for the girl. And
Right.
then you get the "What do you think this is? A bus stop?" comment,
Yeah.
and then the door opening up, push her in the hallway, and then we get a classic, in my opinion, stairwell scene. I think the
yeah.
stairwell is where everything happens in movies and TVs. This is where the biggest decisions are made. The most.
He does have a crisis of not faith, but like it challenges his beliefs in his buddy. So I mean, it's a crisis for him. 'Cause,
True.
Like, and he pushes back against her pretty hard. Like, no, my buddy's not the fucking bad guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get that.
Yeah, because that is a good scene. That's a good scene because also like at one point the initial note I took was like he's mad at her for being like a whistleblower. Like, I don't understand
Yeah.
what that is. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's because it's like implicating the dude that was like his childhood friend. Like, okay,
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
now I get it.
He's gonna have to. Yeah, he's gonna have to stand up and be the good guy now.
Yeah.
So this is a turning point in the movie. Then he does some investigating on his own because you can't just believe some broad you just met, right? And he finds out it's real. But first he
Smokes a cigarette.
He smokes a cigarette and he locks her in the worst place possible for a hurricane. As you see from
Yeah.
the end of the
on
movie.
the outer in an outer garage.
It's like an outer, it's like
Shed.
thin metal shed on the
Yeah.
side of this building.
You'll be safe here.
It's great at the end of the movie when that big ass ball is rolling. But
There's, like,
anyway,
sharp objects. Around.
all right. So he goes back to the fight floor to retrace his steps. FBI just lets him walk around because he shows his badge as a local cop, which is weird to me too.
Yeah.
That's one thing that should never have happened.
There's
The
lots. of
FBI is there now, and
Right.
he
Is the
just
FBI
walks-
there at that point?
Yeah. 'Cause
Okay.
FBI, he was like, "Hey, you can't be down here," and then he just flashes his badge. He's like, "Oh, okay, this guy's cool," and I'm like, "No, the FBI doesn't do that."
Shouldn't. I
No.
don't know.
And then we learned about the eye in the sky, the video cameras, and then
The reveal, or it's already revealed.
it's
but-
already revealed. Like
Yeah.
he knows, he gets proof, he's final proof, and then his buddy Gary Sinise catches him discovering the truth.
gives him an option. He's like, "Listen, we know you're corrupt. Just fucking roll with it, man. I'll make you rich. $1 million. What do you want?"
Yeah.
And our boy decides to not flip,
As we see in a lot of Nic Cage movies.
which I don't understand because his character's obviously like morally super gray, right? But
All of his characters
but
are.
it's about murder. He's like, "I never murdered
Yeah.
anybody." And it's like, well, we saw you stomp the shit out of somebody earlier.
We're
Yeah.
learning there's a line that he won't cross.
It's murder.
It's different in every movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't murder anybody in long legs.
And it also just may be kind of like a mind fuck to him that like this was his best friend that he like trusted.
Right, yeah.
And he just
He's been
used
used.
him.
That's
yeah,
true.
He just used it.
That
Like his
is
best
true.
friend just used him as a patsy or whatever, basically.
That's very true.
So that might be fucking with him a little bit too.
It goes through your head in that exact moment that why did he invite me to this fight? Why was I close to this assassination? But he really had nothing to do with it, right? Or no, he did because
Well-
he ends up talking to the guy who's building the Millennium Hotel, and he's saying you're cop buddy, but I honestly don't think that he was part of this whole master plan.
Oh, he was. Ganesh.
Ganesh.
Ganesh
just-
gambled.
you just combined
I did. I just my mind shortened it. Ganesh gambled that they'd be able to pull the wool over, or at the very least, corrupt, buy off Cage.
He's like an alibi.
He's like,
Yeah.
Cage is going to be on my side in the end of this. Like, this is best case scenario. Because I was thinking, like, why would you do it there? Like, why would you do it there? The whole thing was so risky for their plight. But
So
anyway.
what happens next? If you can't reason with him, beat him the fuck up.
by using the heavyweight champ,
Yeah.
you use the
Who's already talked to him and admitted everything.
right to rough him up,
Yeah.
to just rough him, not kill him, just rough his ass up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane. I used to have nightmares as a kid getting like hit by Mike Tyson or like sat on
What?
by Yokozuna,
Oh, yeah?
the wrestler. And like those people were bigger than life to me. I can't
Right.
imagine what it would be like getting hit in the face by a heavyweight fighter.
No, I'm sure I
Yeah.
would die.
I mean it, but let's be realistic here. It fucks him up a lot. Like
For sure.
it fucks him
Yeah.
up. And then we get the sound bite.
You got nothing, kiddo. Snake eyes. The house wins. Now where is she?
Fuck you.
The point I wanted to make before I just wanted to hit that sound bite so we got to hear one, the tagline or the title of the movie. Is this fucking heavyweight champion is punching the shit out of Nic Cage and beating the fuck out of him. He's beat up pretty bad. Gary Sinise, one punch knocks him out.
Straight up.
Fucking lizard power.
You're right.
The next thing that happens is kind of strange. Again, I think it was like a misdirection. But when Nic Cage wakes up, these two other dudes that were supposed to be watching him were like disposing of a body, and he is just allowed to escape.
Yeah.
Because he's got a tracking device on him.
Correct. So
Right.
I didn't realize that until he's halfway down that hallway.
Oh, yeah.
And Gary Sinise pulled that thing out. I was like, what? Like, these guys just aren't paying attention, and then they were told not to pay attention.
Right. Yeah. It's like, all right, everybody, just go back to your thing and pretend he's not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those guys
Get
were
real.
putting bodies like in the cement mixer or something, which comes back into play later on in a weird way.
Right. Yeah. At the very, very end. Right.
Yeah.
True. All right, so we're getting close. Nic Cage is trying to go back to, like, basically Gary Sinise is following him. He's got a tracker on him. He's going to tell her where he locked the girl.
Talk about a long fucking scene.
Yes.
It's him dragging his fucking beat up ass through those hallways and Gary Sinise following him. It's like, damn, could this be like fucking
Dude,
just
move
two
on
shots?
with
Could
it.
this
Yeah.
be 2 shots and be
Dude,
over? Like,
yeah.
So the hurricane's going on. She's stuck in this room. She's about to get impaled by some kind of big ass like world ball that was on top of this casino that's fallen. There's a scuffle and a fight. How do y'all want to
It got
talk about that?
confusing.
Because the end is really quick. It's like the cops like show up and they bust into this building accidentally.
Yeah.
And
They jump under a van.
Yeah, they jump under the van.
Right.
Lieutenant Dan is like, they see him with the gun, and they're like, "Put the gun down!" And he's like, starts freaking out, and he's like,
contemplating prison time.
yeah, he's like, knows he's busted, and his face, like, he does a good job there. He looks like he's like, oh, seriously, I'm fucked. Anyway, and he starts talking to Nic Cage, and he's like, "Come on, tell him that we were
Friends.
yeah,
and
yeah.
we're
I
in
can't
this
remember what he was
together.
trying to convince him, and then we get the final.
Ain't no we coming. You got snake eyes.
When Ganesh is walking behind Cage, and like it's this long hallway. He doesn't need the tracking device anymore.
Yeah,
There's one fucking door at the end of this hallway. Why did he just shoot Cage, kill her, be like, bury both these motherfuckers, and get the hell out of there?
True.
I don't know. For some reason, he needed Nic Cage to open the door for him. I don't really know why,
it's
but
a dead end. Yeah,
They ended up opening the door by shooting at the door handle,
exactly.
right?
Yeah,
no, Nic Cage. I thought Nic Cage opened it up, and then
he shot through the wall, and it hit the thing. It turned green, and the door opened.
Yeah.
The ending was goofy.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
It was bad.
That
And
is goofy.
And then this big ass like world ball starts rolling towards everything, and I don't know. I thought it would have been better because there was this overhead shot right at the end where you got Carla Gugino in this one room and Nic Cage and Gary Sinise staring off in this other room.
Yeah.
And I thought that, and then they would switch back to this big ass ball rolling from the hurricane. I thought that ball was going to come straight through that building and go over Gary Sinise. And then that's how the movie was going to end. And I was excited about that, and it never fucking happened.
Yeah, that'd have been so.
It would
much
have been way better,
So
right?
much better. Yeah. Damn.
So then that's what we get, and then let's fast forward to the end of the movie. Nic Cage is just chilling towards this new built in front of this new building. He had went to jail, right?
Yeah, I mean he's the hero. Like he has
Sure.
his day, he gets his medal of honor or whatever, and he like is celebrated. And then they're like, "Oh shit, this guy's actually corrupt." And then he gets charged with all his corruption, and then has to go to jail.
Those scenes
Right.
are great. After he's the hero, and they dig deeper on him, and they start following
Right.
him in his house, and he's driving like a yellow Corvette,
Ferrari,
or
yeah,
something.
Corvette, yeah.
Yeah,
Those scenes are great. And then he has to go to jail.
Yeah.
And then the last scene is the makeup scene with Carla Gugino. She's going to maybe wait for him
so I want to talk about that real quick.
because he's got a wife and a girlfriend and a daughter. And
That all left.
Yeah, he doesn't have all of his people left him or whatever. Why would they be getting together? Like, really, what is there? It's like he saved her life. I'll give her that.
Right.
that's
But,
number
like,
one.
Okay, fine, but it doesn't seem like they really had like any other relationship beyond that. Like I think
At all.
like she even says like she hasn't talked to him like since it happened or like in a long
Right.
alludes to, like,
Distress,
they haven't
traumatic
kept in touch.
experience, hero, daddy issues. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff here that caused this one simple night where he saved her life.
Yeah.
and now she's in love with him forever. She's indebted to him, but
Okay.
starstruck, in love, whatever you want to call it. I think that's what movies are about. I think that's why we gravitate towards movies, because they're not real.
Just zero reality.
Yeah, it's like porn.
I don't even know why it was
Also a
necessary.
movie.
Why it was necessary to go through his fall from grace, or even why they had to hook up at the end. Like, all of that was unnecessary to me.
I don't know. I mean, yes and no. I mean, it was unnecessary, sure, but it was like a redemption thing for him. It was like he fucking served his time for being a corrupt dude, and I guess learned his lesson.
Fair enough.
I don't know. And then we get the super long credits construction scene.
Yeah.
That just slowly zooms in on that fucking jewel that they randomly showed on
Ruby.
the girl with the red hair,
Yeah.
the red wig on. Like, that was
Yeah.
such a, like, what?
It's like they were setting up for Snake Eyes 2.
I don't know.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Plot by Juicebox be Snake Eyes.
Mayor Ricky Santoro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Corrupt Mayor
there's a
Ricky
hurricane.
Santoro.
Trump Tower.
All right. So that is the movie. That is 1998 Snake Eyes, as spoken by three guys who watched that film.
I want to bring something up real quick, and it's about the boxer, and the boxer's POV, and he's going through that whole thing, and he's like, he'd been paid to throw this fight, right? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking to myself, has there ever been a time when two fighters were both paid to throw the fight, and what would happen?
Wouldn't they know?
No, because it's like, listen,
That is what happened in this, right?
Well, I think the other guy's playing to win, right?
No, I think.
Do you think he's throwing that? So I'm wondering, you're a gangster, I'm a gangster, and you approach that boxer, I approach this boxer, and we're both like, throw the fight. Has that ever fucking happened?
Somebody's
felt
losing
that
money.
way. Well, right. Somebody will lose,
That
but
makes no sense to me.
think about it. All right,
You don't think the other boxer knew that
me and you were
the
boxers.
other guy was throwing the fight?
Me and you were boxers, and a gangster approaches me. He's like, throw the fight in the second, and a different gangster approaches you and is like, throw the fight in the second, and then we're both fighting. That's what it felt
Either
like.
one of you would have hit each other, or
it's like
you're
a fucking-
dancing
yeah.
around, or just
It's
tried
just a
to get
pussy
hit or
fight.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened, do you think? Anyway, sorry. That was a thought by old boy. Also, I want to talk about the Secretary of Defense.
He's in the movie for 2 seconds.
Right. Maybe this guy worked for Fox News at some point, but you're going to tell somebody that has information, you're going to be like, all right, tell you what, give me this confidential information at a heavily publicized boxing event that is on pay-per-view. There are cameras everywhere. That's where I want you to give me the information.
I mean, maybe he was doing that to somewhat protect himself. It's like, this has to happen in public.
Right.
That way I know you're not going to try to pull something, even though I'm going to get shot in the neck.
Right. Yeah.
I
He's
don't
got all these bodyguards around him and everything.
I don't know why I'm trying to defend
It. No, I know. All right. Sorry. I just had those thoughts. I meant to bring them up during the timeline.
All right, let's get on with it. We have reviewed the plot, and now it is time to get into three little segments that we have that revolve around 1998 Snake Eyes, especially when we're doing these Casting Cage episodes. The first is Movie Marriage. That is two movies that we believe inspired this movie or remind you of this movie.
Okay.
I've got 2003's The Cooler mixed with The Usual Suspects.
The Cooler with
It was that
Alec Baldwin's in it, maybe?
Yeah.
It's a Vegas movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He they bring in a cooler to, if somebody's on a hot streak, they bring the cooler in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
He
Yeah,
sits
yeah.
at the table and
Okay.
gets them off the hot streak. And
Gotcha,
moves and
okay.
stuff. But
Got it.
just the way it was kind of shot, it reminded me of that. And then The Usual Suspects, because there's some just
Okay.
shit that you can't.
That's a good
anticipate.
cinematic comparison. I appreciate that.
The fuck does that mean?
No.
Cinematic. Like I don't watch
saying,
movies.
You're saying no. You made a good. I agree with you. I was struggling. I think you're right though.
All right, go ahead.
The Manchurian Candidate. It involves like a political assassination and Scooby Doo.
All right.
I wish I could say I love you. It's the exact opposite so many times.
Okay.
I also had Usual Suspects. That felt like that had a similar vibe. Not quite as Kaiser Soze, but still behind dude pulling the strings, all the strings behind the scene. And the other movie I had was another Nic Cage movie called Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans, which I haven't seen.
Wait, that's a movie that we have to watch?
We'll get the. I mean, it came out in 2009, so we'll get
Bad
that eventually.
Lieutenant.
And then there's
Bad
more?
Lieutenant. It's like the sequel of Bad Lieutenant, that Harvey Keitel movie, I guess.
Oh yeah. So this is a spinoff of that or something.
Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call, New Orleans.
God. It's like they made a movie or like, man, this movie's never going to make it. Can we like borrow a title from an existing movie?
Like it was just called Port of Call, New Orleans. Like they fucking fast pitched that shit right there.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's great.
All right, another segment we have for the movie Snake Eyes is tagline. This is something you guys love. It is where we read the original tagline that you would see on a movie poster. It would be part of a movie preview. And then we give you our own version of the tagline because we thought that one sucked. But we have to do it in a movie voice, and that is the only rule. So, Juicebox, what is the tagline for the movie Snake Eyes?
Okay, can you get on IMDb real quick?
Why?
Because there's 6 taglines.
What?
Shouldn't there just
And I
be
think-
like...
And I think we should each do 2 of them.
I got you. Okay, hold on, let's see.
Snake Eyes, a Brian De Palma film.
I saw it too, man. I was like, damn, that's so fucking classic. Here, you want to read the second one?
It was
Where are you finding these?
who was it? It was
David Lynch.
David Lynch. Yeah, it was just a David Lynch.
A David Lynch film? All right, do it.
Snake Eyes. Believe everything except your eyes.
Snake Eyes. Watch closely.
Snake Eyes. Now you see it. Now you don't.
Snake Eyes. He's got 14,000 eyewitnesses, and no one saw a thing.
Snake Eyes. Seeing is deceiving. Which I guess is
All right.
fair.
So yeah, those were all the taglines to Snake Eyes.
That's from IMDb. Now let's do our versions of the tagline for Snake Eyes. I'm going to let Old Boy go first this week for his tagline.
Snake Eyes. How did we get all the shit assignments?
Wait. I didn't hear that.
I think it was like when those 2 of those guys were maybe like putting those bodies in that concrete. I think one of them was like, how did we get all the shit assignments? I was like, how did we get all the shit assignments?
Dude, mine are kind of like the ones on IMDb. The first one I have is Snake Eyes. They're always watching.
Okay.
You just always try to write a proper tagline.
Yeah, I think
I appreciate
yeah.
it, but
My next one's real proper.
all right.
Oh.
Mine is not proper. Snake Eyes. Your reptile overlords demand you watch this movie.
Dude, Gary Sinise is going to come after you. Ganesh.
Ganesh.
Do you have another one?
It's a reptilian name. Snake Eyes. It was made for the sewer. That's another line from the movie, but I think Nic Cage says, I was made for this sewer.
I've got this one. Snake Eyes. In a ring of lies, every move could be fatal.
Cool, man.
Okay, I have Snake Eyes. Always bring spare glasses.
Jinkies.
Before we get into the final segment, which is rating this movie, Juicebox always likes to give us some fun information about the movie Snake Eyes, whether we liked it or not. And he kind of tells us what else was going on during that time.
Yeah, some of the other movies you could have seen in the theater at the same time if you did not want to see Snake Eyes.
When did it come out?
August 7th, 1998.
Oh boy.
Where were you?
19. I was probably at Hermitage 4.
Yep. We were close. If we weren't there, we were close.
Yeah, August. You said.
So that is
7th.
going into
I was freshly. I was just.
junior year.
I was 16 years old. I was probably high and making popcorn.
Yep. We were watching Cats and Dogs.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan, maybe.
That movie with
Shrek.
the movie with Keanu Reeves about like the Bad News Bears. That came out around that time. God, what was that movie called?
Mighty Ducks.
No. That's Amelia.
That did not come to Hermitage 4.
Anyway, so maybe some of the other movies that might have been at Hermitage 4 would have been Halloween H2O.
For show.
Damn.
Safe
What,
Men, which I'm not sure what that is.
is H2O the one with Buster Rhymes?
You know it.
Yeah.
He doesn't die.
The Negotiator, which I don't vaguely
Samuel
remember what that
Jackson
is.
and
Is that
Kevin
the-
Spacey.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Basketball.
Ooh.
Wasn't it Hermitage
Nobody
4, but
went
so
to see
good.
that. Nobody.
Yeah.
I think that was a cult classic after the fact.
Yeah, it I mean it made
Damn, we
You
did.
gotta think like '98. South Park's not even that big at that point.
It's
right?
getting there.
it
It's
was
getting
fairly big.
Pretty big.
Dude, South Park the movie.
I mean, it was a cult classic, but it made $5 million in the theater. That movie probably cost $1 million to make or something.
Basketball?
Basketball,
super
yeah.
cheap.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe a little bit more than that. But anyway, Saving Private Ryan, which
Yeah.
had just been in the theater for like 2 weeks prior to this, so it was
We definitely
still
had
like
that.
the number one.
Tom Hanks is so hot in the '90s.
Lethal Weapon 4, Armageddon.
Never saw it.
Close my eyes.
I don't know. There's some other random ones, but those are the big ones that you've heard of.
Gotcha.
All right, so from what I saw, this movie cost $74 million to make. It made about $101 million in the box office, so that's considered a success. I guess.
I am not believing any of these numbers that are on IMDb anymore. I can't see how this movie had a $74 million budget in 1998. That is just
That seems.
It was
Yeah,
all in
way-
it was all in a staged sound whatever room. They created this arena, right?
Right.
There's not very much going on. It's probably just shot in a casino. They've got to shut the
It's not
casino
even-
down for a couple days. Bring in some
Right,
extras.
but like the casino shots look like it's the cheapest Reno casino.
True. There was one
Yeah.
shot that's panned across, and it was like a bunch of slot machines.
Right.
And it showed like the exit doors when it was
Yeah.
panning across. I was like, dude, this looks like it could have been at the Holiday Inn we worked in like college.
Yep. Yep. That's
Uh,
it. It looked cheap.
yeah, dude. So I don't know. I
74
don't
million.
believe. I don't know if I believe the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was considered a success because it made more money than it cost. That's what I'm going to say. Plus, everybody was going to see Nic Cage in 1998. He was so hot. So let's get on with the rating for the 1998 movie Snake Eyes.
You go first, baby boy.
I knew this
You
was
go,
coming.
Yeah, you go first, baby boy. You ain't gonna hide behind our ratings.
We have a tiered tagline here, tiered rating system
Right.
here. We have 3 ratings: our best, middle, and worst.
Yeah.
Depending on what we liked and didn't like about Snake Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
My rating is going to be
All right, I'm a little tired, I'm a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.
I
Carla
didn't
Gugino?
love it. I didn't hate it. It's like literally this is the first Nic Cage movie where I agree straight down the middle with this rating because I don't know if I would watch it again, but I would watch it again for Carla Gugino's scenes. But Nic Cage is wired in this movie. He's everything you want out of Nic Cage in this movie. He's like Stanley Goodspeed, and he's like, I thought he drew a lot of similarities to the Rock character that he had.
Right.
And then I just thought this was Nic Cage. This is who you come to see, and he delivered. But the movie fell flat. I didn't like all the jumping around on the shots and scenes and stuff like that. I didn't like the POV stuff, and I don't like Lieutenant Dan. Like, I just don't. I can't. Everybody. And,
All right.
and the boxer.
If you had to pick, Travolta or Ganesh.
God, why would you make me do that? That's
Pick.
like fucking bad. That's bad.
Pick.
They both suck.
You do you want to go? Or you want me to go?
I don't care.
All right, I know I was, shitting on the movie and everything, but I'm gonna give it the.
Well, that
Because
is
I
a
fucking
surprise.
hated this movie.
I'm about to spit my beer out.
Sorry, I fucking hated it.
All right.
I watched it a while back because I thought we were gonna watch it. So like I got a trial membership to like Paramount. I watched it and I was like, "Woof." I was like, it was tough. So I went into it, watched it last night, and I was like, all right, man, like, come on, make some good notes, like pay close attention. And I was so bored. I honestly, my boy Nic Cage, I think he was overacting in half of it. Like this whole Johnny Bebop, Ricky Santoro, I was like, I was tired of that. I was tired of everybody.
Yeah.
Are you getting tired of Nic Cage? Because
No,
this
no.
is like a fucking breather from what we just watched in City of Angels.
I agree. I didn't like any of it.
It's exciting. There's a lot of like different angles here. There's a whodunit aspect.
I knew Gary Sinise was the bad guy from the jump, and I thought it was a contrived plot.
Man.
The redhead didn't trick me for a second. I was just bored.
The
And that's just
redhead
me.
was out of place. That was supposed to.
A red herring. I just couldn't care. I just didn't. It just didn't do it for me. But that's me.
Yeah.
Like Carla couldn't even get a middle rating out of you.
I have a whole other rating for that.
Okay. Juice box.
So I did not call it from the beginning. I feel maybe I'm just dumb or something, or I wasn't paying attention. I don't know. I didn't call Gary Sinise being like the mastermind of the whole plan from the beginning or whatever. I liked the shots in this movie. Like, I don't know, it was kind of nice to see. Like I said, maybe I haven't seen a Brian De Palma film in a long time, so it was like not something that was like on my radar. I don't know. The movie wasn't great, but at the same time, I enjoyed watching it a whole lot. And I watched it a second time through, and I didn't mind watching it a second time through. So I'm going to go.
Yeah, he's awful damn good. I think I got the best one.
Oh,
number one.
We have a winner. This is like the first time I have not been over the moon. Like, I have not been the top guy.
That's why you're going
No,
first
it's not.
every time.
It's not the first time. You didn't even go top on Face Off. You fucking went middle
I
on Face Off
know.
like an idiot.
I didn't, but I
know.
didn't think anybody was going top rating on Snake Eyes, and you surprised me, and I'm happy that you did because I wanted to go top rating.
I mean, I don't know. There was a lot of dumb shit about this movie, and the plot wasn't great, and it was just like, there was some stuff, but I was entertained the entire movie. Nicolas Cage character did it for me. It was fine. He was over the top. Like, yeah, he was overacting maybe a little bit in some spots, but it didn't bother me because, like, especially coming off of City of Angels, like, it was nice to get back into this like wild 90s Nic Cage.
Is he your boy?
Yeah. He's
Hell
my
yeah.
boy.
Hell
That's
yeah.
why you go to the theater to see Nick. This is what Nic Cage wants. He's delivering. He is delivering exactly what you expect from him, and he's getting better. And like, we're going into movies like 8mm and Bringing Out the Dead, and we're gonna get
I am
like more
excited.
subdued but more crazy Nic Cage. And this was just a fun one. This was a fun film. And we're about to get into some serious shit. If I'm not mistaken, 8mm is like about finding like a snuff film.
I think so.
Yeah, I think
And
so.
like, he's got to get to the bottom of that. And then Bringing Out the Dead, he drives an ambulance and like encounters like deaths all the time.
Yeah.
So we're about to see a couple of different ranges from Nic Cage, but I had fun with this movie. I really enjoyed it. I'm so glad that Juicebox enjoyed it. It's okay to be wrong. Old boy.
I was really interested to honestly know like which way
What
you
we
guys-
all thought?
Yeah, I knew Bucky wouldn't hate it. I didn't know if he would go middle or high, but I knew he wouldn't go low.
He was gonna love it.
I knew Bucky wouldn't hate it.
Just because you brought up Stanley Goodspeed earlier, I was thinking you were always like get in the cage or like cage match and all that shit. If you took this character, Ricky Santoro, and put him in a cage match with Stanley Goodspeed, who would win?
Ricky Santoro.
No,
100%.
Goodspeed.
Goodspeed?
Before or after the Rock experience?
Just pick.
I mean, after
They
he's
both
learned
survived.
from Sean Connery. No,
Right.
he's
He
learned from
did
Sean
kill
Connery.
people in that movie, right?
Nah, no. But
Yeah,
he
he
took like
did.
a shot. He shot himself in like the leg with the stuff, and he held the flares up, and he's
Okay.
got some heart behind him. I'm
Okay.
going Goodspeed.
All right. I think
I'm going corrupt cop.
You're going
Corrupt
Ricky
Cop?
Santoro.
Yeah.
think he's got more chops. I
Should
think
we
didn't-
rank
he-
these things?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we do a round robin and we figure out who the Cage character is that would come out on top. Like
the one
like,
from Wild at Heart.
like Highlander.
No, I mean it's like fucking Castor Troy or whatever, right?
I got
he's
Castor.
probably top dog.
No, I got Castor Troy versus Con Air, Nic Cage. So Cameron Poe,
I feel like
Castor
they have
Troy.
to be on the opposite sides. They can't
Yeah,
be.
Yeah, I
you
think
gotta
we
put 'em in
should have
different brackets.
rankings because I mean, if you look at Wild at Heart, Nic Cage,
Should we create a bracket?
he slammed that dude's head. He killed that dude in the very first like 30 seconds of the movie barehanded.
In Kiss of Death?
Kiss of Death. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, he killed the dude. Yeah,
it was Wild at Heart. No, it was Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart. Yeah,
in
oh,
the,
yeah.
in the hotel lobby.
No shit.
That's
like,
true.
We need to go start going through
Little
this.
Junior did beat a guy to death also.
All right, maybe we create a bracket and we start putting
Then you got Long Legs, Nic Cage.
who didn't kill anybody. He's a bitch.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
scary.
He made some dolls.
She's got some little girls out there running around.
He's enough to be in the bracket. Let's say that.
They all go in the bracket.
All right, we're about to go into is that Pig Nic Cage or
Mandy?
Mandy Nic Cage? Ooh,
we gotta
I
do
mean,
that
that's a
better
brutal
picture.
dude. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it's a little dark.
I think we're
onto something?
We're on to something.
All
here.
right, we'll create a bracket.
All right. Well, each and every week we love doing this for you guys. Again, we have a website, buckysbasement.com. If I'm not mistaken, it's updated. It's looking good. And that's where you can find our episodes. You can also find them wherever you're listening to this podcast today. Obviously, YouTube, Instagram at Bucky's Basement. All the social media is at Bucky's Basement. We thank you for listening each and every week. We love bringing these chronological cages to you. Called Casting Cage. We also like movie scripts and everything else that we do. Thanks for supporting us. Thanks for listening. And if all else fails,
Tell your mom and them.